Ha 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 ha. Yes. Greetings, Internet. Do not adjust your television set. We are coming to you live in streaming broad brain. Shout outs to anyone who knows Aquatine. Alright, let me spam the fact that I'm on. That's what I do. I copy this shit, and then I go to my different social medias. To start with, let's switch camera, scene, whatever. Fuck, my back is fucked up. God damn. I need a backiotomy. What's that guy's name in that movie? Samson, or Mr. Nice Guy from Chappelle's excellent work in the movie Half Baked. Yeah. It's so hard to look at the camera. It's so hard not to look at myself over there. Motherfucker. Time to spam this shit. We are live. What the fuck is up, everyone? God damn. Keeping this shit real as fuckity fuck. Oh wait, hold on. God damn it. Spam, spam, spam. Spam. Where else am I spamming this to? Does anyone actually use Gab? I just shitpost there, that's about it. Because, yeah, everything I do is shit and trash. Let's talk about imposter syndrome. I don't think it's a good idea to have ego in anything that you do. It's a bad idea to think that you're good at anything. Whether or not you're actually good is completely removed from the discussion. It's more important to be honest. And honestly, I don't feel like I've ever been good at anything, but there is a genuine like thing of satisfaction whenever you get a program to work, right? To demonstrate that you like understand a concept and to have like knowledge of the understanding of that concept reflected by attempting to like write your own code and make the machine do a thing that you want it to do. As a kid, I was just thrilled that I could write a program in BASIC to like add numbers and do math. Like that alone was just like amazing on a lot of different levels, right? Like, sure, writing a calculator isn't impressive now, but to anyone who doesn't know how to write code, learning how to do that for the first time, I think, is a important milestone. Sure, not some of us wrote our first backdoors when they were 12 and have the archives to prove it. Young Snat, shout outs to my boy tcpdirect.ru for letting me hang out and learn from the best. because in the end, I'm a fucking old man in this game. And when my mama went to prison, I was too scared to get into hacking because I saw that movie, Hackers, right? And thought it was cool and everything, but I certainly didn't want to step too far outside of the bounds of whatever was okay. And not to mention, it took a while before I got access to the internet computer in our house for long enough time to, do anything, and also not to mention very easy to rabbit hole. But especially when no one's there to direct you, you only have so many things that you have access to. Um, being able to like go from knowing nothing to being able to do something with the machine, I think is an important milestone in any hacker's journey. Um, Hand edited HTML files as a preteen because I was making my own websites, and I had fun doing that. And I think that's what it's most about. Now, what I think is most fun now is certainly different from what I thought was fun as a kid. Um, Thinking about like actions that you're engaged in and what drives you forward, what draws your interest. And there's certain things that are interesting to me, and certain things that I am having trouble getting to, but I've certainly gotten close. When I found my first SQLi, I was so stoked. Problem was it was on a VDP and not a bug bounty program, and so I only got awarded points and not actual financial result, compensation for such a critical vulnerability. Kind of sucked. The fact that I got that far, and it's like I didn't even have to do anything. I felt like that was like particularly complicated. Not much different than I showed last stream, and so we're going to continue that today, because the process is simple. If you have a particular domain or organization you're trying to bust into, you have a certain number of steps that you have to accomplish. Now, the material out there that people present in this domain, and I realize this is what's going to end up happening, is I'm going to end up going over this every day until we get this whittled down to a fine fucking blade and a fucking sword. That's what we're doing here. We're creating a hacker sword. We're summoning the blade of the Dark Mage. So we're gonna do that together. And yeah, Jubert's gonna be helping me out with that. Actually, it was he who asked me for assistance with his ASCII Bird program, which shout outs to Jubert and his progress there. Evil Dojo is a $1 patron, and in exchange, Hugh Board is a $1 patron of Evil Dojo. And hopefully in the near future we can elevate the finances. He did indeed ask for my assistance on, in particular, WebGL and implementing multiple contexts, which I've never done before, but I also know enough about JavaScript and HTML, and I know about canvases to, spend 5 minutes Googling, exactly how one might go about doing that. And there was a particularly good answer on Stack Overflow that I thought provided enough information to create kind of like a template or pattern depending on his use case scenario. So it would be cool to like sit down and like look at the code that he's trying to work with and see how like we can perhaps implement, starting like first of all figure out how many contexts he needs in the first place and what like he's trying to do with each one. I don't know enough about his code base because I haven't been watching all of his streams, unfortunately. Knowing that he actually airs like every Friday is kind of nice. Like I'm still trying to get my shit pinned down to the point where I have like a set schedule. Um, you say you didn't start from scratch, but man, he's built so much. Like, and actually, I should put the chat on the screen. Um, the you say he done so much, but like, let me see if I can like add window here. Um, he has done so much already to the point where like you don't want to start from scratch when you're that far in. That fucking sucks. I've been there, dude. Like I overhauled Skull from C to C++ on a whim decision, but not a whim decision. One that I spent like weeks, if not months, thinking about. Right. Kind of kicking myself, thinking, why did I do this in C? And I know I did it in C because I wanted a lot more control over the system. But when I realized that the standard template libraries that are provided in C++ and the containers that are offered right out of the box are already really well optimized, and I did not want to have to go through the process of re-implementing that shit from the ground up. When I realized how tedious that is in practice, even though like from a theoretical standpoint, if you have the tolerance to push through it, one can potentially outperform the STL. And that was really idealistic and retarded of me, honestly. And honestly, I hadn't sat down with C++ long enough. But once I kind of understood like the relationship between the stack and like the calling of destructors, um, makes a lot of sense and ends up being very clean to implement. Not to mention the including of particular items from individual namespaces is like easy when you understand that like you don't have to pull in the whole namespace and you can just pull in individual aspects of it, like for instance standard : string, because I fucking hate typing : I can't anything that requires both my hands is already fucked up. Like I'm working with less than two hands here. I got one finger on this hand that I can use, my thumb, right? And you see how like the whole thing is that when I'm like putting attention and energy driving it through the arm to basically kind of like aim it at the keyboard, all of my other fingers lock up. Yeah. That's the first time I've been able to articulate that. Wow, we're breaking new bounds here on Evil Dojo. It's been kind of sucked, but like when I'm engaged in shit and I don't notice, it's really not a problem. I don't really think about it too much. Oftentimes, actually, I would kind of benefit from like a small, a grippy tool, or like, can I hold this hammer? Yeah, I'm gonna hold this hammer. See, this like feels good right now for some reason, and it's like, well, what am I gonna hack? Hold up. Hell yeah, hammer time. Ninja popper, oh snap. Tooth, honestly, I mean, that's a long story, and that's really more not just that one tooth, but also really my teeth. My teeth are very fucked up because I went through a very long period of depression, did not apply proper dental hygienic techniques as one should, and ended up basically over time doing critical damage to my teeth and have ultimately lost one and am in the process of losing several more. I'm working really hard to prevent this in the future. There's a number of things I'm trying to get straight to prevent that from ever taking place again. Having gone through the things that I've gone through, I wouldn't wish this on anyone. But I have a lot to say in that department, and the problem that I'd like to solve there would like to solve I'd like to solve it by getting a fucking grill. Honestly, I want to get some fucking gold teeth, dudes. Like, maybe I can make that happen. But, you know, we're going to start from the ground up and just kind of like work through things. It's a long road from intro to like computer science all the way to like the kind of shit that I'm doing right now. But in the end, like, perhaps there's a way that we can level people up from like, you know, level 1 to level 99 like super fast. You know, that'd be like ultimately, I think, what Evil Dojo's goal is, to like lessen the time from like noob to lead for all, like if we were to like put this in script form, like, I mean, it only makes sense, right? Like, we're all gangsters. Uh, so, like, if we were to put this into, you know, for all humans, like, do yeah. They seem to be actually rather understanding, and, you know, of all things that we're planning to go do, we're planning to go do coffee, which is exactly what my teeth need. Um, in the end, there are certain lifelong habits that require breaking, one of which is consumption of coffee. Um, like, human dot is nude. Um, human dot power level. Like, that's what we're aiming for here. But in the end, I have to. I certainly think you will, cheese. If if I can talk to people, anyone can. That's what we're all about here. Is that if I can do it, y'all can do it too. Um, so for anything that I'm able to do, others can. Oh yeah, well, you know, there's other things to do than besides that, Ninja. You know that too. Don't act like you don't know. Uh, we can look at some Python actually. Check it out. Um, so I'm actually in the process of doing some. Oh, sweet, we're still getting some fucking pops. Um, I'm in the process of brute forcing more domains on Indeed.com. Um, Vim, we can do some Vim too. We can do whatever. So let's first start with what I'm doing here. Um, because AMAS has been like super lame lately, and every time I try to run it, it's literally hanging, and I'm just like, guys, this is what happens when y'all rush into new languages. This is what happens when you rush into fucking re-engineering shit. You know, there were tools built long ago that are perfectly fine for doing certain things, and sometimes you can do things yourself in ways that are more satisfactory to what you're actually wanting to do, or perhaps get the kind of output that you're actually seeking to get. Um, Shoutouts to this dude named Mooney, who I was chatting with about async in Python. It inspired me to do some async code writing today, and we have implemented some subdomain fuzzing using the asynchronous IO library, which I really hadn't messed a whole lot with in past, but I also have kind of an interesting history with Python that I can kind of go on about. Um, so I first tried to get into Python in college while I was in operating systems class, and I remember running into problems with the tabbing in my vimrc. Um, dude, first of all, it is a dream of mine right now to get a fucking like RCE, like get a fucking root. I haven't done root. I haven't gotten like a root like that, not since the fucking SQLi. but long before that, even like back in college for a fucking homework assignment. So I mean, define pen test for one, because I think the culture of bug bounty hunting versus pen testing is like the difference between like Catholics and Christians. It's the same shit. Like, it's all about where you actually stop moving in the whole process. Um, and in the end, I kind of have a specific subset. So if you're going to ask me to do anything involving Windows, the answer is no. I don't pen test Windows. I don't fuck with Windows environments. It's just not my jam. But secondly, if you were to ask me to like break kernel shit, I'm not experienced in that department. I barely touched writing a module, and I understand that like perhaps you could like write a malicious module, and that would be a really cool use of my C skills. But do I lift now? No. My shoulders are actually in the right place right now. I've actually spent like all fucking morning stretching and walking around and shit because it's been a really stressful day. Last couple days have been kind of stressful due to some family drama that's going on, and it takes me a while to kind of get like unwound because like I may have mentioned, I encountered an injury on my back while I was in Florida, and as a result, there are certain points of the day where it's more or less comfortable to sit in my chair. Um, well, I'm not talking that many, but like what you do with the OkCupid thing or the fucking messaging apps and shit is you swipe on anyone that you're actually physically attracted to when you look at them. I don't do the thing where some people just like swipe right on everyone. I think that's rude. Um, I think you should at least give someone the courtesy of being at least that honest with them. Because if you're gonna like have to go back and like unswipe on someone, then that's yeah, I know that's what you do, bro. That's why I said that shit. Yeah. It's like in the end, I don't want to have to like unmatch with someone because like think about it like that way. Like imagine matching with someone and trying to like message them and then like not being able to because they're like, ew, that guy's ugly. I'm gonna fucking unswipe on that dude. Like, I wouldn't want anyone to do that shit to me, so I wouldn't, also want to perpetuate that onto someone else. I mean, dude, it's not even about men or women. It's about like just being human, right? Like, um, I give everyone that I've ever met like a bare. It's like everyone gets the same level of respect until either you do something fucked up to lose that and like you lose points or whatever versus otherwise, and it's very easy for me to like align people in that way. But like then again, like I don't think I get to know most people so well as to be able to like put people in that way. um, you're cool though, bro. Just fucking with you though. um, like what really sucks is like messaging a girl who's like a bot, or like messaging a girl who's like all of a sudden her account gets deleted. That sucks, man. Like, come on now. um, Bumble's kind of an interesting app. I need to get back on that one. um, but in the end, like I think one can also spend too much time on these things, and in the end, what I would want to do ideally is like write a bot system so that like instead of having to physically swipe or whatever, or physically press a button, just fucking automate that shit. Like, and it shouldn't be too hard to do that. Like, it's pretty easy to use like the Python request library to like log into a website, and so we could probably build our own like object oriented based OkCupid auto swiper. I'm sure that's something that's totally within our capacity. Like, that would solve a lot of different problems for not only myself and I think a lot of other people, but um, because imagine then being able to just like get like a mail letting you know that you've got a new match. Um, I mean, OkCupid already does this, like if you have notifications turned on. So I think you wouldn't even need to build that into the system. You could just build the auto swiper. Um, so speaking of building stuff, so I wrote this async shit earlier today because I'm retarded and I reinvent the wheel all the fucking time because I get frustrated when software doesn't work, and I'm overconfident that um, calm down, Ninja. Uh, I'm overconfident that I'm able to like re-implement certain things from the ground up. But in the end, like it was really not hard to do this, and also to get it into such a state that I was able to simultaneously output the current state of the script as well as be writing to file like any results that I actually find. Um, God, I hate Tinder so much. I for, there was a reason to boycott them years ago, and I think it involved some dude or chick that someone either change all our accounts so we're sexy. I mean, if you're not already sexy, I can't help you there. Like, like just because my teeth are fucked up right now, just because I got a crab hand doesn't mean that I don't look fly as fuck in a suit, or don't sweet talk people, or know how to actually treat people. Um, in the end, it's not always all entirely about appearances. Um, it's about knowing what people's primary drives are, and just honestly being a good person. I feel like I there's the concept of being a player, right? And I think if you're a player, you're like actively going between chicks without like really making the effort or the intent that you're trying to settle down ever at any point. And I'm sure that a lot of dudes do that because, like, ultimately biologically it's beneficial to, you know, spread the seed, have as many kids as you can with as many people as you can. And if you're a dude in particular, you know, this is just kind of like biological, animalistic fact, but in the society that we live in, from a social standpoint, there's a lot of long-term potentially benefits to step one, find someone who's not insane. And that's the hard part, because everyone seems to be off their fucking rocker these days, right? Like, first of all, who the fuck is Chad? Um, um, uh, Ninja acts like there aren't any chicks on these apps that are not like within range. First of all, chicks on OkCupid range from like 18 to fucking 60 plus, and I get matches with everyone in that age range. Um, I was thinking about the name Chad, right? And oh snap, we got a follower, and I can't even see who. DBCS, nice. Man, it's fucking pin testing Python, and what's the deal on keeping Bash as a default? I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm too lazy, and I haven't learned ZSH yet. Maybe that'll be something that I do on stream. Because I'm probably coming to a point in my life where I'm gonna have enough like free mental energy, and I'll be able to like do that. But up until this point, honestly, I just learned ever enough to basically do things that I want to do in a language, and Bash is just default anyway. Like, so why fucking change it if it does the thing, And someone would have to like convince me of reasons why I would have to learn ZSH. I've heard of fish though, but I haven't like dug into it. And honestly, it's common practice that for any good computer science curriculum, that you'll come out of it having to write your own shell at some point anyway. And I've done this multiple times with many students, so I know the level of effort that goes into building a shell, and I can appreciate that. And I just haven't seen a reason to actually pick up ZSH yet. It's cool that it exists, but at the same time, it's like, why learn Go and Rust when I know C++ and Python, right? Like, why reinvent the wheel? Why pick up new things? And the answer is always because it's potentially going to be the dominant force in the future. But language designers, oh snap, man, we're getting like fucking followers like a motherfucker right now. Hell yeah. What's up, Lolsey? Um, Rust. No, first of all, DB, it's on the way there. First of all, I am convinced people are trying to force me Rust into the Linux kernel. That shit is sus as fuck. Like, let's get up on the conspiracy theory train for a minute, right? Like, come on now. Like, come on. Who the fuck do you think anyone is trying to fool by trying to shove that bloated trash mess into the kernel? Absolutely ridiculous that it's even a thing in the news. Um, can I use Windows? Can you do anything other than ask like questions over and over? You're very tedious, Ninja. Um, well, first of all, see, I'm not, nobody's advocating for C++ support in the kernel, bro. Like, let's just step back a second. That shit's not a thing. You could technically say this is hacking. It's going through a big ass list of potential subdomain names for Indeed.com, and we're writing them out to a file and basically just watching the ones that are failing fly by. Oh, well, okay. Well, hold on. My Rust comparison. So I guess let's go back to that for a second. My first glances at Rust and Golang as syntax was not really on-putting. It didn't come. It didn't inspire me to want to look. Snap! We actually got a hit just there. Like, it was just like lots of no hits, and then all of a sudden we get a hit. The way I wrote this was that like anytime we get a hit, it prints it to standard out, and then it prints it to standard error. Um, so, oh well, okay. So like if we're talking about like comparison to C++, yeah, like okay. So first of all, let's go into the background about why there's new languages in the first place. Um, as I contemplate more coffee. Uh, See, I'm gonna start a punk band, and I'm gonna name it Acid Mouth, because that's the state of my teeth right now. Um, and honestly, I never really got into punk music growing up. I was really more into like industrial and metal than I was into. My sister was really more the punk band. Um, Acid Mouth. I'm gonna make a language and call it fucking acid. Um, if it hasn't been done already. So it wait, Cheese, you're gonna have to. I'm gonna need you to go into that one, Cheese. Um, what language can't you write a linked list safely in? First of all, Android. Let's talk about the difference between a linked list and an array. This is basic data structures 101. I mean, C's not safe, but like it's not supposed to be safe. The safety is supposed to be something that's accountable to the programmer. Like, like the whole reason that they're creating these new languages is that they're trying to baby programmers into not being responsible for managing their own memory, which is absolutely fucking ridiculous. That people are trying to lower the bar by doing this. I feel like right away, without even digging into the truths of my claims, I can make some statements about the fact that this is ridiculous. Um, you say Rust has improved the state of the art from the 70s, but and talking about safe Rust versus unsafe Rust, like, why Rust instead of Swift? Why Rust instead of D? Um, why reinvent the wheel? And of course, the answer is because they're trying to again protect programmers from making bad mistakes that lead to security flaws and company-ending nightmare scenarios in the future. That's the whole reason that this language war is even occurring right now. Um, I took a class on compiler writing. It got me into an independent study where I got to work with my professor's own custom language that she wrote, uh, called Poet. And it allows you to transform any language into any other language. It allows for automatic optimizations that may not be possible with traditional compilers and interpreters. Um, this was stuff we were doing in like 2008. Well, it was pretty cool, honestly, and we used it to do some stuff with the Atlas library, um, which I learned a lot about like performance testing and like cache flushing during that time. It was really cool once I understood what I was doing, but there was a big information gap or like jump that I had to make, and it involved reading a lot of stuff. Um, well, Ninja, ideally, I get subscribers like y'all selves. I mean, I know y'all are following me, but yeah, this the idea that we're heading in, because I mean, eventually, someone will be getting my uh, full attention, and I may not be so scatterbrained. Yeah, I was thinking maybe we could do some naked computer science. Like I could like just talk like I'm doing right now, except just in the nude. Maybe just like with my wang in your face. Um, maybe I could do a hot tub stream. Uh, do some body painting. I think that'd be cool with the hammer. Just someone should supply me with like spare computers, and I should just bang on them, just like that'd be great. Um, the borrow checker. This sounds like some very specifically Rust stuff. Um, so we're in the process of attempting to harvest some subdomains from public bug bounty program Indeed.com. Um, let's see. Yep. Um, so they have some good payouts if you find some really big stuff. Um, they're offering between $4,000 and $10,000 on P1s. Um, P2s are paying $1,000 to $4,000. P3s are paying 200 to 1,000. P4s are paying 0 to 200. I've found a couple things on here, but I haven't gotten paid for any of them. Um, but I have made a little bit of money on this website doing this kind of thing, and there was a point where I didn't know shit. Um, am I mining? Oh, I think you're probably hearing my air conditioner, um, which is literally maybe like a foot and a half, 2 feet, 3 feet. Um, this is why music exists. But yeah, so there's a lot. Let's see. There's a lot of domains potentially for any given domain. A lot of them may not even exist in traditional DNS requests, which is why I'm doing the brute forcing. Um, I've shoved a bunch of DNS resolvers into my setup, and so we can potentially get some good hits. So the task function here, very straightforward. You give it a subdomain and a domain. It constructs a string given the two, which I could technically do beforehand, and it might actually be even faster. But this is my first experiment working with the asynchronous IO library in Python. Um, the idea being that, like, basically we cache up like 20 tasks, and then we await all of them once we've added enough tasks to our list of tasks. So in this way, we're basically kind of like launching 20 micro threads that are all designed to attempt to check to see if this is a valid URL. HTTPS :// subdomain.domain. So in this case, we're looking at indeed.com, and we're going through using a particular word list from the sec lists GitHub, which is a fantastic resource of text-based materials that are all, good stuff. Let's see. Do as the Onyx says, buy the ticket and take the ride. Shout outs to Hunter S. Thompson. You'll probably see a lot more of his quotes by various other Pokemon. So let's make the screen a little bigger. So, like I was saying earlier, SecList is a great resource for different text materials, and in the process of discovery, you have access to these different things. In the DNS folder, you've got a handful of text files, and one that we're currently using, I believe, is this one. I started running the brute force before the stream began, just so that it was like already running, is still working on stuff. The boys want to see some code. Well, code what though? Maybe we'll you want to see some live coding? Because yeah, this is an infosec stream. Maybe later on I was going to do some Final Fantasy stuff. Definitely not in a code writing headspace right now. But just looking at, we'll just take a look at what I wrote earlier. Oh, that's weird. Wonder why that is. So, one thing I could have done before running this is actually piping the results through Burp Suite, which is usually my second step. Once these results have finished, I can add them to my ongoing list of subdomains, and I can actually further enumerate by attempting to brute force each one of these domains that I find to to see if there are any further subdomains at lower levels, because you can actually have like a a.b.c.com, for instance. If I set it up, I could do like a.b.evildojo.com. I guess while that's running, we could do some Code Wars stuff, maybe go back to that millionth Fibonacci. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so here's where we're at currently. Haven't done this in a little bit. I got one student that's actually on Code Wars as well, and she's pretty close to where I'm at, and she's also a very much older lady than I am. But in the end, I've been doing this kind of thing a very long time. I did this in this, competitive programming crap in high school. And as an old guy, I'm a lot more slow moving about this. So bear with me as we get started here. Let's see. I actually have the So I found one that I really like working with, though, the millionth Fibonacci. Someone actually suggested that we not use Python to solve this one. Perhaps he's right. But my other options are fucking trash garbage. I would totally use C if that were an option. So let's start with Fibonacci in general, right? Like, Code Wars. Yeah, this is the crazy. Someone was calling this crazy, but I was actually getting faster results as a result of it. But we're going to backtrack and start from scratch again and work our way through to see if we can't come up with a more optimized version of Fibonacci. There's a hint on the page. Actually, two hints. Can you rearrange the equation fib of n plus 2 equals fib of n plus 1 plus fib of n to find fib of n if you already know fib of n plus 1 and fib of n plus 2? Use this to reason what value fib has to have for negative values. I mean, by definition, wouldn't like a fib of negative value be like 0? And then they also have a second hint at MIT, which they actually link to SICP, which, if nobody's aware, was a very big meme in the /prog text boards, which, rest in peace, no longer exist. Um, There's some hardcore computer science stuff. They actually used Lisp. If anyone's worked in Lisp, it's god awful. Mostly because of all the parentheses. But it's very logical. Functional programming language is a big upgrade to someone's skill set if they've never actually learned it. Oh, I wonder if we could actually use lambdas. Oh man, I wonder if that's fast. Like, here, they actually have a fib. So, move this down. It's a clever algorithm for computing the Fibonacci's in a logarithmic number of steps. Ooh. Recall the transformation of the state variables a and b in the fib iter process of section 1.2.2. A is yielded by a plus b, and b is yielded by a. Call this transformation t, and observing that applying t over and over again n times, starting with 1 and 0, produces a pair, fib of n plus 1 and fib of n. Oh yes, I forgot that, like, not to mention in Python you can actually use tuples to return, and so we could possibly like end up pre-computing certain things kind of ahead of time. In other words, Fibonacci are produced by applying t of n, the nth power of the transformation t, starting with the pair 1 of 0. And so you would like just update that pair over and over again. So you'd always have like the current number and the current number plus 1. Now consider t to be the special case of p0 and q1 in the family of transformations t of pq, where t of pq transforms the pair a of b according to bq plus aq plus ap yields a, and b is yielded by bp plus aq. Show that if we apply such a transformation t of pq twice, the effect is the same as using a single transformation t of p prime q prime of the same form, and compute p prime and q prime in terms of p and q. This gives us an explicit way to square these transformations, and we can thus compute t of n using successive squaring, as in the fast exponentiation procedure. Put this all together to complete the following procedure, which runs in a logarithmic number of steps. So let's read this code. So we're defining Fibonacci of n to be a call to fib iter given the variables 1, 0, 0, 1, and n. So n is our input, we're passing it in, and we're starting off with this set. And those are going to be a, b, p, and q and count in fib iter. So they define two functions ultimately. And it's like one of them's an assistance function, which is a common pattern whenever you're defining like recursive functions. As I can see, this is actually recursively called in order to achieve the end result. So here's how this code reads out. So they set up a switch statement or a condition. It's like an if statement. Is count equal to 0? And if so, then return b. Otherwise, is count even? And if it is, return fib iter of a, b, and then they actually omit the P prime and Q prime here, um, forcing us to have to solve for that ourselves. Um, and then what they're passing in ultimately, though, down here is count divided by 2. Else, they're calling fib iter with these parameters passed in. And that actually is very straightforward when you kind of step through it and read the material that way. It's a completely different thing to try and do it from the ground up. But and like there's I'm always interested, especially in like the world history of things, and like for instance, how certain things were discovered, like how pi was first approximated back in the day, and how techniques to approximate pi over time have only gotten better and better. It's interesting to approach things from different perspectives, because getting these different perspectives helps yield the greatest understanding when you're attempting to apply a new concept or learn something. In this case, we're basically taking something that we've read and we're like going to be re-implementing this, right? Like, so in the end, we would be re-implementing fib iter as well as fib to operate off of this principle of being able to pass around the A and B and the P and the Q. So if we compute P of Q, so let's see. So this is actually an exercise. Show that if we apply such a transformation T of PQ, let's see. Consider T to be a special case of P0, Q1 in the family transformations, where T of PQ transforms the pair AB, which is what we pass in, according to this, which is why this is the first parameter that's passed in. So that corresponds with this A. The BP and AQ corresponds to the B. And so the initial thing that they're passing in for P and Q is 0 and 1. So we can actually implement most of this and see if we can't fill in the blanks. It's the best way to do this. Oh no. Crap. Sweet. Let me unfuck this. Let's see. Toggle full screen. We want to unfloat it. Control super space. There we go. Okay, awesome. Sweet. Actually want fuck it. So we're gonna go and save that. We're gonna move it into a .old .py file. Start from the beginning. Let's see. So we're defining a fib of n, and then we're also defining fib. Let's see. fib iter. How do I make master again? Control super enter, okay. There we go. Okay. Almost. Ooh, spinning windows. Alright. That's good enough. We're going to do A, B, P, Q, and count. So fib iter is going to return, or sorry, fib is going to return fib iter of 1, 0, 0, 1, and n, whatever that is, whatever we call it. Fib iter of A, B, P, P, Q, and count. If count is exactly equal to 0, we're returning B. Else, if count mod 2 is exactly equal to 0, then we're gonna return fib iter of A, B, something else, and then count divided by 2. And then in the else case, which we didn't technically have to write, we can actually just write it right here. We can do fib iter of let's see, BQ, what's B times Q plus A times Q, or wait, yeah, it is A times Q, and then it's also times, or plus, A times P, for A, that's for the A, and then B times P plus A times Q for the B, and then P, and then Q, and then count minus 1. So now we can pull that all up on the same line. Now we can actually, it's not the like prettiest thing to look at, but maybe we can make it prettier. Also need to return. So, question is, what do we put inside this, right? Like, so if T of Q yields this this bottom one, right? Then we're going to be passing in P prime and Q prime, whatever they are. So like for instance, for this bottom part, A equals this first thing. So if we're like make this look better, kind of like to break down like why it is what it is. Oh, we wouldn't be able to like reassign it like that, crap. Not without renaming stuff, right? So like let's rename this like A1. That way we can pass A1 in here, and then B1 equals B times P plus A times Q. Just to be specific, we'll put them in parentheses as well. So that way we can do A1, then B1, then P and Q, and counts. And that's a little bit cleaner. So effectively what we would be doing here is like defining P1 to be something and Q1 to be something, and we're going to be passing those in right here, P1 and Q1. I wonder if they have solutions here. That'd be nice. I don't see them though. So I could probably look it up. Well, let's think about it before I do that. So if we apply such transformation T of PQ twice, the effect is the same as using a single transformation P prime Q prime of the same form. So one transformation, yields this, right? So, what if we did a second time? So, like, in this case, it would be B1 times, would it be the same Q? I mean, it would be the same, yeah, I mean, it's like P prime and Q prime. So, well, I'm not sure that makes sense, actually. This runs in a logarithmic number of steps. We have a reference. The exercise is suggested to us. SICP Fibonacci logarithmic. Let's see. Here we are, okay. So, let's look at this on a GitHub someone's got. Thank God for GitHub. The original version is this one, which is the slow version, right? The faster version has a function called double X, which simply squares the input. And they do that in this language because they don't have access to a power operator or whatever. So let's step through what they're doing. So the T of PQ transformation is exactly what we talked about before. But when they talk about T of PQ squared, it's effectively like what you're actually doing is, like, for instance, for the A, you're taking it and like kind of multiplying it into a thing. So because you notice how, like, for the B, the A of AP term is missing. BP plus A of Q, you know, like, essentially this is the result of a very large multiplication. Anyone who's gone through basic algebra knows about the distribution rules with polynomials. That's really all this is right here. And they've just, gone through the process of hammering it out, way before us. And, not that any of us haven't done that sort of thing a million times, right? So same thing with the B. So a second iteration of the transformation yields this longer version. Actually, each one is is like, for instance, we're taking Q, multiplying it into B, P plus A of Q, which is the initial B. We're taking the initial A, multiplying that by Q, and taking the initial A, multiplying by P. And then this is the, the ultimate final form of that, which is that, the same thing for the B. So up here for the P prime, he's passing in P squared plus Q squared. And then he's passing in Q squared plus 2 times P times Q for the Q prime. So that's easy enough. So in this case, for P1, that's P times P plus Q times Q. For Q1, Q times Q plus two times P times Q. And it looks weird as fuck, but when you rationalize it out, it makes sense. Just, it's the kind of thing that, like, unless you sit down and work it out on paper, it's hard to immediately see how you get to this point. But this is why this is an implementation of someone else's, work, and, God bless anyone mathematically capable enough to derive new shit or prove shit on the fly, because it's certainly not an easy skill to have, and it's been a long time since I've worked that part of my math brain. In the end, it's really good material to cover, though. So, does this work? That's the 1000th one, I believe. Let's just do like 10 to start with. 55. That sounds right. What about 5? You could always like do it in a loop. Like for I in range, like let's just print out the first 10 to start with here. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34. Okay. Seems good. So, how long do you think it would take to run the millionth? Because originally when I was doing it, like using the old way, it was coming out to like 12 seconds, which is a hell of a long time in computer world. So, anything that you can do to like, get to the answer faster is always the cool thing, right? So, we're going to print fib of 1 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who's blowing up my phone? Oh yeah, it's rush hour on OkCupid an hour ago. LA County authorities seize $1 billion in weed in historic takedown. Oh no. Rest in peace. Illegal drug scene in California. Okay. Here we go. Let's run this shit. Time it. Wow, look how fast that motherfucker ran. Holy shit. So literally a logarithmic speed up. So we're gonna try this and see if it works on our Code Wars here, and if it does, then we will thumbs up and all that good stuff. So start by catting out the code. Wonder if we can get away with having two functions defined. So we're gonna give it a shot. Oh shit, here we go. Okay, pass the test. Let's do it. Oh, it failed. Timed out again. God damn it. Are you fucking kidding me? Our servers are only configured to blah 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 blah. How the flying shit fuck? Is there something that I can do that's faster than mod? Like faster than modulus to determine if a number is do I need to use like floor division? Like, would that make it faster? I can't believe it's still timing out. I'm gonna get... You don't like to see me angry. Code doesn't like to see me when I'm angry. Gosh. So, there's certainly things I can do in this to optimize it, to make it better. So, for instance, I compute A times Q multiple times, and I'm certain that there's perhaps something faster than P times P, perhaps. Maybe not. Maybe math.pal. I don't know. Like, another question is, do I need to use floor division or not? Like, so like, for instance, 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, but 5 slash 2 is just straight up 2. So thereby, you know, effectively like rendering us just like working with integers, perhaps making the program faster. We can try, certainly. Is there anything that can be done to speed this thing up a bit? I wonder if like having the location of the function where I'm defining it matters. Like what if I defined fib iter inside of fib, like for instance, wonder if this would matter, or would this like help? Still ran fast, really fucking fast. So like for instance with this we're gonna say AQ equals A times Q, and so that way I can have AQ here, and then I can have AQ here. So we actually have Q times Q twice up here. So I could actually pull that out and say Q times Q here, and then we get rid of at least one extra multiply by doing that. This is a question of like, what's the fastest way to square a number in Python? Fastest way to square a number. I wonder if which is faster, double asterisk or PAL. I mean, you say they all return the same result, but like, I'm not convinced that they all do it equally quickly. Like for instance, you know, instead of doing like for instance Q times Q, you do like QQ equals Q times 2. And so like for instance, you have PP equals P times 2, and then that way P1 equals PP times QQ, and then you could have PQ2 equals 2 times P times Q. That's PQ2. I don't necessarily think that would speed things up a whole lot, but the structure of the if statements also matters. It's like count. When is count going to be 0? Like when it's at the very end. So like it's the least frequently occurring thing. So when we branch into like each section of code, we want to probably rearrange this in such a way that like the most frequently occurring branch is the one that actually occurs first in the whole code. So if we were to like restructure this whole thing from the ground up here, so I would create a second copy of it, and then like let's think about like reorganizing these if statements in these like sections. So like this technically implies that this is in an else. So as you can see, like this is like the least amount of code, but it's also the one that's occurring the first, and it's going to be always branching away from this one and not like going out down into this code path, not until like the very final run. So we pretty much don't care if like we don't want this necessarily to be at the front. I'm thinking maybe perhaps this should be the case that comes at the very end. So like to start with, let's move it down one and then make this top one now the top thing. You don't have access to the challenge. Why not? That's weird. So like again, if we were to like think about like what the condition is for this bottom one, instead of it being just strictly else, you know, understanding that like the specific condition that we're basically inverting is the one above, which is if count is greater than 0. So by doing this, we can move count equals 0 to the bottom, and then all of a sudden it's no longer we have to do elif. We can do like this will be else. Oops. Damn it. Okay, hold on. This will just be else. Interesting. I wonder how far away your code is from mine. Good for you, Wolsey. So restructuring the branches, I wonder if this would have a good impact. So first we check to see if count mod 2 is 0. Is actually in both instances for this implementation, I don't necessarily think so. But in the end, I'm still implementing a potential speed up. Not sure why it's taking as long as it does yet. Still in the process of figuring that part out. Uh-oh. I think I may have made that worse by doing that. Gosh, it's taking a long time to run. Oh snap, what up, Queen? Just noobing it up here really hard. Getting trash talked by fellow programmers while I'm in the middle of trying to get stuff to pass a codewars test. What's up with you? Dude, I was just thinking about you. Want to play some Dance Dance Revolution soon. Like, uh, Faker was telling me that Otaku Cafe is back open. So I don't know if they have a machine or not, but certainly need to hang in the near future. Um, for everyone who's unaware, Queen is a super old OG AF amigo from down here in the we'll get to that, Lilsey. Like, just simply saying that I need to use a thing without telling me the context of where it needs, that doesn't help, because it just only creates a lot of questions and anxiety. So attempting to, circumvent or sidestep or jump ahead of the conversation without actually starting from the beginning as to where the for underscoring range would actually go doesn't actually help, because I don't immediately see where I would do that. And so you would have to break it down and explain it for me. Maybe also explain it for all of the viewers who are attempting to follow and keep up. They have a pump machine? Nice. They also have a Stepmania machine. Oh, that's fucking dope. I wonder if it's the same one that's been, like, passed around town for a long time. If it is, then its previous owner, or the original owner, I believe, was probably Piram, which well, not Piram. No. It was another dude, even older than that. Abel. It was probably Abel's machine, if it's the same one that I'm thinking about. No, not PK, but Abel. I hope PK's doing okay. I haven't heard from that. Yeah, no, real talk, Queen. Me and Abel used to date the same girl in when I was in high school. Like, it was kind of funny to hear that this dude ended up having a Statmania machine, and that I ended up becoming, like, kind of a big deal in the DDR world. Real talk, anyone who's not aware, I used to be some hot shit in the Stepmania and Dance Dance Revolution community, and along with Arch Owl, who was also another local big time e-celeb, helped put San Antonio, Texas on the esports map, and we helped really drive forward video gamers being able to get paid to play video games. Some of the best Dance Dance Revolution players in the entire world came out of this city. I did beat you at Attorney. I totally forgot about that. Oh my god. Oh shit, dude, those were fucking great times. Man, I would totally get my ass handed to me today, though, if I tell you what. But, like, mentally, it's like, I've done all of the steps and stuff so many times that it shouldn't reasonably be a bad thing for me to get up on a machine and start, like, doing stuff again. But I know that I need to definitely get my aerobics up in order to get back up to where I was at the end of college, which was, for all intents and purposes, the peak of my athletic capability. Was crushing Paranoia Survivor Max Oni on DDR Extreme, which I know that was several generations ago, and I'm very behind the curve. But passing that song was definitely a huge milestone, and I unfortunately stopped playing really heavily after that. And a lot of bad shit kind of happened in life, but in the end, maybe, I should have been more focused on sticking with the routine back then, and just trying to push through things. Cardio will keep the doctors away. I do need to get up on my cardio also. DDR, especially, like the heavier charts, are this new crowd. Yeah, well, I mean, that's how it always is, right? Like, kids who are always on the come up are, going to be raving about the new stuff as opposed to the old stuff. That's just That's like, you know, asking like young kids about like old school rap nowadays, right? Like a lot of stuff that I dig and have dug back in the day is probably gonna be stuff that a lot of kids haven't like really listened to. And it's not just rap; it's also true for any sort of musical genre, like like fucking rock and electronic and you know shit. I used to hang out with this one old lady in Jacksonville who's a neighbor of my grandpa's, and we used to talk about like oldies music. I don't think the teens really know about KMFDM, dude. Like, and that's definitely a problem. Um, but like how they get their material out there, and I wonder, you know, like honestly, they must be surviving um, in some interesting ways because the you know, like I pay attention. Like first of all, I go through periods where I check to see if new stuff is actually coming out there. Sorry, Lolsey, I've gotten sidetracked as fuck. Just going over good old times here. Um, so Lolsey, the original implementation was like under a second when I ran it locally, but when I ran it, it was actually like, yeah, 1.1 seconds when I ran it on my machine, but then it's like 12 seconds when I run it in codewars. Um, yeah, oh, I did. Well, I did a good thing then, Queen, because the ultra heavy beat is what has kept me alive this whole time. And I was just thinking, man, you know, for all the music that I do listen to, um, you know, the nice thing about KMFDM is that they've been dropping shit since like 1985. And yeah, Losey, I'll show you. Um, let's see, where's, oh, hold on. Um, there's so much, man, I want to get fucking, I don't want to get DMCA'd off of Twitch, but I would so, if I got permission from KMFDM themselves to like stream 24/7 KMFDM mix, like I will DJ the fuck out of that shit. Real talk. And because like I frequently find myself going into the past and listening to a lot of their old material that honestly because like I came into their stuff in 1995 96 with their album Nihil, and okay, so um, but they had like at that point like so much stuff that came before that point that I've just now really gotten a chance to dig really deep and go back into it. Nice, right on, dude. Um, so yeah, look at this fucking like maybe it's this here that was doing it for me. Because the test passes and it's like, okay, cool, it's fast. And then it's gonna time out. Um, and it's so fucking trash that this times out. Uh, um, when did Inesh leave? Um, let's see. Interesting. Uh, so, what you're saying is, um, just have two if statements instead of one with multiple conditions. Okay, interesting, interesting. Um, well, oh, two. Why and an else? I technically don't need the else, right? I mean, because, yeah, like if it skips out of the second if statement, it just dives right into the final part. Right, the last return. I mean, you don't need it in the else statement, but are you saying that because you do understand that like that's like all of a sudden what you're saying is just do this, but I'm saying this shouldn't be necessary at all. So yeah, just making sure that yeah we're on the same page there. So it sounds like we are. Huh? You can't. First of all, you can't return more than one statement. That's impossible. Um, you can only return once. Like as soon as the function returns, you're outside of the function. Like let's see. That'd be so retarded if this actually is faster. I wouldn't think that it is though. Yeah, see, it timed out anyway. This is QQ. This is QQ. P times P plus QQ. So I no longer really need the parentheses for those. In the end, it's kind of just a... Right, well, like, if you weren't here earlier, this was a translated implementation of, see where it's at, from SICP. That's a good question, Cheese. Not sure. So the idea here is that to say just write it as a loop, but that's the whole problem. Is I started off with this as a loop the other day. Here, hold on. Okay. Here we go. They even have an explanation of the entire implementation. So they give it to us here as a yeah, they gave it to us here in Lisp, and I basically given the blanks that are filled in here, implemented this in Python. and it runs really fast locally. And of course, this is the original version, where and you know, like reading through it and you know implementing it is like that makes sense. Here's the thing: the loop was slow. The loop timed out also. Like, we'll do a third file just to show you. 3qfib.py to 3qfib2.py. That way I can edit the original one. So it's def fib event. So you're doing for underscore, and I might use I. I don't know if using underscore I is faster or not, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a range. You could use a while loop technically, unless there's some sort of optimized thing underneath the hood of Python that kind of encourages using for loops as opposed to while loops or something. How does this work? It's like so they're using fib iter for their implementation here. Where's the actual definition of yeah, A is A plus B, and then B is A. So A is 0, right? And then, or wait, no, one, A is 1, B is 0. What are A and B again? See, this is why I don't try to like take direction from other people, because it just you end up with multiple people kind of like arguing and trying to provide advice when that sort of clouds my ability to think and actually rationalize and reason my own personal way of working through things. Have you posted it anywhere, Wolsey? Because I don't think I allow links in Twitch chat. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I don't want to be responsible if anyone gets phished. Please don't click on any links that you do not open in a VM or sandbox in some way, or otherwise come from a person that you trust. So, like, for instance, well, B is less than, or I think what you were doing is 40 in range N, and then that way you like A equals A plus B, then B equals A, right? And then just like return B. So, oh, that's not it. No, that's totally wrong. So fib iter is that transformation, but like if we were to look up the definition of Fibonacci numbers, I like thinking of it this way a little bit more. F of 0 is 0, f of 1 is 1, and then f of n is f of n minus 1 plus f of n minus 2. So you could think of like A, and then B, really, not even like that. So like f of 2, of course, would be f of 1 plus f of 0, which is, in other words, the sum of the previous two numbers. So if we're doing it as the sum of previous two numbers, yeah, the fucking commenting, syntax highlighting gets broken sometimes. So, let's see. Oh, actually, we want to return A. 1, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 1, 2. Wait. Is that right? No way. It's 1, yeah, see, that's right. It's like 1, 1, 2, 3 would be the next number. So, we're doing this wrong. Well, so A equals 1 plus 0, and then B equals A. So it'd be 1, so that'd be 1 and 1, and then that would be 2 and 1. Right on. Let's see. Okay. So. A negative index, f of n minus f of n plus minus 1, a negative Fibonacci. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Oh, nice. Okay, so let's take a look. N is, okay, so he actually had two functions also. F fib iter, if count equals 0, you return B. If count mod 2 is 0, you return the sequence. It's okay, so you actually, your code is very close to mine from my perspective. You're actually implementing the same logarithmic algorithm. You're not doing just a loop from scratch. But you're doing the loop, let's see, in regular fib, if it's negative, which is interesting. I guess this is part of the requisite for implement. Well, I don't know. If n is less than 0, and that's the part that I'm weirded out about, is that when would n be less than 0? But I guess this is also related to the restructuring of the well, and that's the question of the negative sequence, right? So like, I was actually thinking about that out loud earlier, but because like one question I might have is like, well, I would think that negative input would be handled as being zero, but apparently not. Apparently, uh, negative numbers alternate the sign on every other digit. So on even negative indices, we have a negative sign on it, and that's an interesting property. So let's see if we can't finish working this one out. So in the end, I was in the right direction. So we still got fib iter. We still have fib. I'm going to move fib iter to outside for readability purposes. Actually, let's see. So let's compare this to Mooney's solution here. So in the case where n is greater or equal to 0, he's returning his fib iter solution, which is essentially the same thing as mine. Count equals 0, return B. Count mod 2 equals 0, return the sequence here. So that's probably why it times out on my end, actually. And that was the real question I was thinking about out loud, was like, why would it be timing out still? But I wasn't testing it myself with negative numbers, and yeah, it is a requirement. But in the end, also learning about how Fibonacci's interact in the context of negative input is definitely an interesting aspect to kind of look into and consider and think about, which is, of course, why this is a 3Q challenge. So anyone can do Fibonacci, but figuring out how to optimize code and use mathematics in order to obtain faster results is kind of par for the course material in any good algorithms class. So, yeah. Thank you for linking that, Lowell's Mooney. So we need to extend our fib to have this part. If n is greater than or equal to 0, then we're going to go ahead and return our fib iter. And if it's less than 0, then we're going to essentially do what you're doing here, just kind of copy it. For underscore in range in 0, n, and then -1. So AB equals B minus A, which is the opposite of the initial algorithm for calculating the basic Fibonacci sequence. And then at the very end we return A. Let's see. there anything else that I would have to do in order to update my code to work here? Because if it runs that quickly for the positive input cases, then it's probably not going to time out anymore. So it probably actually probably solve that problem. Let's make sure it still works. Sweet. Okay, good. Can I try it with negative input? Oops. Now, this time for the negative input, like, I don't know if they would test the negative millionth, or how this would be impacted, because ultimately the fib iteration is an optimization for the positive number case. I don't know if they would actually test a negative like this, but only one way to find out, right? So let's go ahead and copy this over. Okay. Test. All the tests passed. Attempts. Yes! Oh god, yes. No, it didn't work. Variable reference before assignment. No. Fuck, where? Oh, wait, what? Oh, shit. That line. Hold on. I forget something from your code. Oh, yeah. I have to initialize them. A, B equals 0, 1. Yeah. Okay, so we're just about there. Which might actually be a nice checkpoint for the stream. Turn on some music, gas up, juice up, all that good stuff. After we fucking murder this code. Let's see. A, B equals 0, 1. Honestly, I'm just old school, and I like to do things kind of like A equals 0, B equals 1. I would much rather write this A equals B minus A, and then B equals A. I'd much rather write it that way just because of how I roll. Let's try this one more time. No. God fucking damn it. What did I do wrong here? -6. Why is it coming back with 0? Damn it. So the less than's not working. Did I forget something there? It says return A. What am I returning? Yeah, I say return A. But it's definitely returning the wrong thing for those inputs. So if I were to take this, bring it back over, You do understand, Mooney, that a comma b equals b minus a comma a is the same thing as writing a equals b minus a and then b equals a. Like, these two statements are equivalent. A comma b equals b minus a comma a is equivalent to these two statements. Oh, I get it. Sorry. Let's back up a second. The way that you're saying it read really weird. What you're saying ultimately is that because I'm reassigning it, what I want to do is assign the old A to B. And that way, the values are not polluted. And by doing it this way, it doesn't actually compute correctly. So it's a good point. But I thought I did that just a second ago and it wasn't working. Okay, never mind. Well, I wasn't. So we ultimately finally got that with a lot of people chatting at me and just basically shitting up my entire thought process and how to even approach it. But I was on the right track, even though Mooney suggested that I wasn't, because you were talking about loops and really not focusing on the fact that I wasn't implementing the negative Fibonacci's, which I had also gone into with the incorrect conception about how that stuff worked. So we all learn stuff, and that's a good thing. Learning's good. Oh, okay, sorry. I don't mean to confuse you, Mooney and She's. So now we can actually submit our code. Sometimes programming and really honestly building anything on the internet is a collaborative. And wow, we got a big boost there. Plus 300 honor. We've unlocked a new privilege. Now we have the ability to write our own kata. That's pretty cool. So, dope. Where does that put me now? 314, which means that I am, let's see. Oh, we're right behind Octopus. We are 3 points away from Octo. I hate that guy so much. He's such a piece of shit. In the end, I've basically spent absolutely no time on the site over the last few years, and the fact that I'm even as high up here as I am is just everything's all a matter of time and how much you put into it and deciding what is or is not beneficial actual use of your time in a day-to-day. It's like, you know, how useful is it to do programming challenges if you've been writing code for 25 years already? You know, it's useful if you want to show other people how to do it, and it's useful if you want to put material out to encourage people to learn how to do this stuff, as well as also show them how to do it, because you've never shown anyone how to do it before, or, you know, initially, you know, it's trying to bring people up in the game, right? So perhaps that's what this is all about. I don't definitely feel like doing another one of those, and let's check in on our subdomain brooding. It looks like it actually terminated, which is great. This is what this stream is actually about. where did I actually write them out to? Indeed 5. They actually got 227 names out of that one, so like we got 244 out of the text files that I've got in here. If I were to append these to the domains that I've already discovered, and then go ahead and cd into this folder and sort those subdomains. We're up to 958 subdomains for Indeed. And there's certainly more that I could spend time digging into, trying to come up with new servers and things that I could attempt to fuzz, try to find login forms and reflected parameters on. Man, it's probably way too late for another coffee. Let's see, what do I have going on this week? I've got a interview with a local company tomorrow. They want a Linux admin, which you can certainly learn how to do. Interviewed with another company today for an application security engineer role. Apparently it involves finding bugs, which I'm pretty good at. And there's also another job that I applied with involving a credit card company that's involved in payment processing, which for some reason I keep falling back into. I tried to be really into Bitcoin back in like 2013, 2014, and the company that picked me up at the time was just like really kind of ignorant of Bitcoin and being involved in it. I have something to show you guys. I have something to show you. You want to see a fucking OG, legit, from back in the day, straight up, bought and paid for with Dogecoin, or Dogecoin, however you pronounce it. I pronounce it Dogecoin, because Doge is a Japanese Shiba Inu, and thus you need to pronounce the word like Nihonjin desu yo ne. So, let me show you that thing real quick. Un momento. Ta-da! This is actually a very old bag that I acquired with Dogecoins that I harvested off of my own CPU back in 2014. At one point I had a t-shirt, and I may still have the t-shirt in Florida, but I managed to recover this from my Florida storage unit. So if we think about the price markup on how much this bag is actually worth, and when they say I'm holding the bag, I can say I'm holding the bag, because this Dogecoin bag, at the time, I paid probably like 15 bucks for. And it was 15 bucks in Dogecoin. So let's think of the price markup, right? And like think of an approximation. If it was 20 Satoshi at the time, and fuck, I would have to know what the translation rate of Satoshi to Bitcoin would be. So if we were to like do some sort of guesstimation based off of like what the price of Bitcoin was at that time, like, so price of Bitcoin in 2014, let's see. Let's see. So I already go back to like 2014. I probably got this bag, well into my tenure or my time at this company. Back when Bitcoin was worth less than $1,000. And actually, the price drops significantly. And it just keep going. It stayed so low for years. It stayed so low for years, guys. It stayed so low. And I had 2 Bitcoins at one point. I actually had 3 Bitcoin. I had multiple Bitcoins at one point. Hacker friend Sind got 2 of them and sold me 4 tabs of LSD for 2 Bitcoins back in like before this graph is even on here. So when you're thinking about like what drugs are worth, this is it right here. All of this data right here is exactly what LSD is worth on the open market, or what it should be. So if acid dealers are not making tens of thousands of dollars per hit, then the entire world's economic model is completely inverted right now. Like, LSD is one of the cheapest drugs to manufacture, and yet I managed to spend 2 Bitcoins on 4 tabs well before Bitcoin was worth anything. There are many people who believe that Bitcoin is and other cryptocurrencies are like a pump and dump scheme. But what is all banking if not a form of pump and dump, or a form of power and control? Gosh, my neck. Oof. It's not that I'm more buff, it's that my shoulders are fucked up. So, in the end, we've been on for about 2.5 hours now. We're just kind of rambling, thinking about the price of that Bitcoin, thinking about the price of this bag. So if we were to like estimate, maybe pin it to like $500, right? So if we were to say like $500 per Bitcoin times what, 0.000000001, I think it's 09, right? Or is it 8? Like one Satoshi. So that's 500. That's the price of 1 Satoshi. And so if the price of 1 Dogecoin was 20 Satoshi at the time, then that would be the price of 1 Dogecoin in USD. So if we were to say, okay, well, okay, so I paid about $15 for this bag. Price of 15 US dollars times 0.0001 to figure out how many Dogecoin that I paid for this bag. Um, well, no, sorry. This would be the price of 15 Dogecoin. Um, if I paid $15 for the bag in Dogecoin, um, you'd have to take this Dogecoin price and then divided by. So you do 0.0001. Syntax error. Oh, it's because of the point. Wait. So like that's 10, 100,000. Oh man, they're not doing that. Shit. Where's my calculator at? Da, da, da. There we are, calculator. $15 divided by 0.0001. So I paid about 150,000 Dogecoin for this bag. That's now on the floor. So how much would this bag be worth today? So what's the price of Dogecoin in Satoshi? Or rather, what's the price of one Dogecoin? If I paid 150,000 Dogecoin for this bag. Let's see. Current price, according to Google, is 23 cents. And so this bag is worth $34,000. That's approximate an estimate, and I can certainly create a range on that, and I would certainly accept less than this for anyone who wants to purchase this bag. This bag was acquired in 2014 during my time working for a financial point of sales provider company as an iOS developer. I had already been paying attention to cryptocurrency for several years up to that point. I had already read the Bitcoin white paper. I had already dug into mining, and I was keeping my hands involved a lot back then. And I really wish I can do that kind of thing more now. In the end, I think the technology is very interesting. Regardless of the volatility of the currency itself, but everyone who's, investing into it now is just super late to the fucking game and has honestly missed a big train. And I kind of kicked myself more for not having spent more time in it, because I certainly could have made quite a mint early on, rather than having to play catch up now, which is what I feel like I've been doing most of my life. Yeah. Shout out to anyone who's still hanging in there with me. So it might be in the end a good time for a stream break. Kind of run out of steam a bit. At least we plowed through that one programming problem, right? It only took us a couple days, and it took detangling a very complicated discussion about negative Fibonacci's and linear transformations But yeah, thanks for showing up, Queen. It's awesome to see you here. Awesome to see everyone. Actually, I think we've had more group chat participation today than many other days in the past. And so, I also, with as many people showing up to the stream, it seems like this time actually worked out really well. So I ended up starting this stream like around 8 p.m. Central. Nice, nice. I definitely could use a drink myself. I've got a little bit of vodka left that I can totally do a shot of. No chaser though, except for like chocolate milk. Um, yeah, because I need a chaser. Not exactly the best drinker, even though I've got Irish genes for some reason. Um, Shout out to, yeah, like I said, everyone who showed up today. Uh, didn't really do as much hacking on Indeed as I was trying to, but we did some discussion about the asynchronous script that I wrote. We talked about subdomain enumeration, so at least it was kind of on topic. Got sidetracked into programming, which was kind of cool because in the end I managed to actually plow through that problem too. Uh, Maybe in the next stream we'll do some game development, get back to Skull Dev, and I'm looking forward to actually calling into Jubird's stream on Friday. That'll be interesting. Uh, yeah, thanks for hanging with me, guys. Thanks for keeping it real. It's been a very great stream to help take my mind off some crap that I'm going through right now. Um, Shout outs to my grandmother who's in the hospital, um, and we're going through some tough times right now. Everything's gonna be okay though. We're all gonna be okay. Um, Life moves on, and things happen, and can't always control those things, right? We can write code. We could try to own as much of a problem as we can. We can really try to crush it. But in certain times, no matter what you do, certain things are just impossible to solve, and we have to. This is where they talk about putting it up to God or putting it up to faith, to trust in the universe that the right things that should happen are going to happen. Because if you do everything on your end that you can do to try to do something, then it's really no longer on you, and you no longer have any reason to feel bad for not having done something, because you truly did everything that you felt you could do. And in the long term, every day that you manage to accomplish that is the day that you grow. And that's what I'm here to do, is grow with you guys. So yeah, shout outs to all my supporters, shout outs to all my patrons. Please follow me, and please subscribe if you want to keep seeing me do this thing, because I would love to keep doing this thing as opposed to anything else. Over time, want to get better at this, have more interesting things to talk about, have more interesting code to geek out about, and hopefully we can all learn and do some cool shit together. Love you guys. Peace out until next time. It is the Dark Mage. Wait, there we go. Yeah. Rayon of Evil Dojo signing out. Maybe we can do some outro music. Yeah. There's a lot of people out there talking shit today. Time to put everybody in their fucking place. Yeah. I don't give a shit. Throw you in a ditch, slit your fucking throat. Common boy kids. I don't give a shit. Throw you in a ditch, slit your fucking throat. Common boy kids. Hey, I don't give a shit. Throw you in a ditch, slit your fucking throat. Common boy kids. Hey, I don't give a shit. Throw you in a ditch, slit your fucking throat. Common boy kids. Hey, I need some fucking weed. I've got a fucking dream. Kill them fucking all. Now it is time to sleep. I need some fucking weed. I've got a fucking dream. Kill them fucking all. Now it is time to sleep. Load up my gun. My game number one. I'm flying so high, shoot straight for the sun. Load up my gun. My game number one. I'm flying so high, shoot straight for the sun. Hey, Lord, the Son of God, rise up to the top. Kill them fucking all. Let God sort them out. Or the Son of God, rise up to the top. Kill them fucking all. Let God sort them out. No hesitation. I fuck with no patience. Fuck boys are just hating. Can't fuck with no Satan. You think that I'm playing? This is my creation in my space station. Future just still waiting. Just blazing on haze. Sing Amazing Grace. This is just a taste of what I'm pumping in your face. Sing a serenade. Sharpen up my blades. Cut into you deep. Life starts to fade. Yeah, it's video game time, bitches.
AfterTouchBeats.com.
The geeky one is here. The freaky one be near. Grab onto the wheel, try to steer. Do you know what I like to do when I get bored? Plug into my cord and destroy the head grave lord. Wielding my undead slayer plus 15th grade sword. That costs more time, money, and energy than you can even afford. Don't ask me why I did it for the horde. I can tell that I made you a little bit butt sore. You're probably like, what's this old whitey dissing me for? I'm blocking his ass now, won't see him anymore. What's wrong, bitch? You looking kinda scared. I can tell you're still asleep, you ain't even prepared for internet hate. You can't equate why I dared. I'm a grand total summation of your worst nightmares. My magic points are full, so it's time to cast flare. For a moment you're blinded, you can't see past the glare. This reality space-time done been ripped, it begins to tear. I know you fucking shit yourself, better check your underwear. Do you like poop? Gross, you're a fecophiliac. Brown crap, nitty gritty, half digested shit is wet. I've said a bunch of fucked up shit, but talent you do not lack. This is just a public service announcement. Wipe your butt crack, oh shit. He gone and did it. He murdering everyone and he leaving no witness. This is just his flex, a test of genetic fitness. You think his shit is personal, but really it's just business. Now everyone's like, ooh, no he didn't. His disease is so strong, now even Apollo's got the sickness. Better hit the John before your draws get too messed. This is just a reminder of why I'm the motherfucking best. My life is RPG, max level, now I'm on a quest to put a rap game under extreme duress. Including you, Will, I can tell you're stressed. Afraid you will fall to my empirical conquest. Lord of the grave, well I'm lord of all space-time. Uber pirate, ninja wizard, lizard, criminal mastermind. Wanna be a bitch and call me a bastard, fine. I've got a contract that I know you will definitely sign. Because you probably saw this coming, yeah, I'm fucking Satan. Pretty soon everyone around the world's gonna start hating. Because deep down you know you equals masturbation. I'm just a mathematician and I form these equations. Now I'm coming at you with sick flow. Dark mage of evil dojo. I like to write code when I am stoned, fucking up your brain. I'm always on the low. Now I'm coming at you with sick flow. Dark mage of evil dojo. I like to write code when I am stoned, fucking up your brain. I'm always on the low. I'm a broke motherfucker and I hate load. Fuck a gypsy, put his brains in a damn moat. Motherfuckers on FNet are so damn old. Bunch of fucking skids, cannot even code. Inside of my mind, this is just by design. I am feeling too fine to relax and unwind, so I'm hyping me up on the coffee and kind of blowing out smoke. I continue to grind. Buried heads in the grave, every one of you slaves. I will punish you knaves if you do not behave. Fuck what you chatters say. Fuck what the topic says. Chrono's an autistic bitch. Waste my time, I don't give a shit. All the dude does is run scripts. He would not be here if he was legit. Eraser need to buy a damn gun. Stay on your toes, bitches on the run. I
I told you all I do this shit for fun. If you didn't know, my A-game's #1.
Where's my whiskey? I'm gonna get tore up.
Now I'm coming at you with sick flow. Dark mage of evil dojo. I like to write code when I am stoned, fucking up your brain. I'm always on the low. Now I'm coming at you with sick flow. Dark mage of evil dojo. I like to write code when I am stoned, fucking up your brain. I'm always on the low.
All that we say and do is right.
Bullshit. Shoutouts to TFNet. Shoutouts to everyone who's ever doubted me. You're going down. Killing this shit every single fucking day. If you have a God, son, now is the time to pray. This isn't a game. I don't have time to play. Listen up closely, son. I have something to say. Sick of these fucking haters acting like they don't know what is up. I'ma bust a move, get into the groove. Gonna show you all what the fuck I'm made of. Motherfuckers come around me acting like they don't know what is up. Get into my brain, gonna feel the pain. Guess what time it is? Time to fuck you up. Sick of these fucking haters acting like they don't know what is up. I'ma bust a move, get into the groove. Gonna show you all what the fuck I'm made of. Motherfuckers come around me acting like they don't know what the fuck is up. Get into my brain, gonna feel the pain. Guess what time it is? Time to fuck you up. Hey yo, you ever heard about that evil dojo? I heard that dojo's run by a little gimp pimp with a limp though. A fucking slow poke shrimp sneaking creeping on that tiptoe when he is stoned in his home, when he is alone, when he's on that rap microphone. Hey yo, put your hands up if you're down with the sick flow. Hey yo, it's Dark Mage and this my evil dojo. Hey yo, looking for some money and some sick hoes. Hey yo, I'll teach you things that I bet you didn't even know. Hey yo, put your hands up if you're down with the sick flow. Hey yo, it's Dark Mage and this my evil dojo. Hey yo, looking for some money and some sick hoes. Hey yo, I'll teach you things that I bet you didn't even know. Sick of these fucking haters acting like they don't know what is up. I'ma bust a move, get into the groove. Gonna show you all what the fuck I'm made of. Motherfuckers come around me acting like they don't know what the fuck is up. Get into my brain, gonna feel the pain. Guess what time it is? Time to fuck you up.
Can I freestyle to this shit? It's kind of a metaphorical thing. What did I fix? Sticks. My tricks. My mix. Bitch. But I ain't got a bitch yet. Fuck, I'm just trying to get my fucking dick wet. Damn, I'm trying to just give fucking wrecked on fucking Sunday in my sweater vest. Coming at you now with a sick flow. Dark Oh yeah, it is probably very loud. What is your native language? Oh, that's cool. Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Meine Deutsch ist nicht so gut, ja. Aber meine Japanisch ist besser. Sukoshi Nihongo Daigaku Toki ni
Don't know what my chorus is. I'm a fucking freak of nature. Show you what my story is.
Yeah.
Quantum particle disassembler. I'm hot but no temper. I can see all of you cry, but I only hear you
Oh.
whimper.
You ended up joining at the very end of this stream, Gen X Dev.
I see
I want to thank you for showing up,
quiver.
but
I'm a blow out an arrow.
sometimes you
shoot
may
from
find
the quiver.
humor on this stream.
I've done close
Sometimes
pushes
you may
out,
not,
and I just
because
cut with the
typically it's
sliver.
going to be more technically
I
involved.
answer you, yes, they deliver.
But,
Now I'm on time.
You're more than welcome to follow me. I appreciate having you on board. The more the merrier. This is a world universe ride that we're on. We can't get off this train.
I'm a mastermind. First I get it from the front, and then I get it from the back.
Thanks, man. Y'all take it
Want me to
easy.
show you how to play? Press the track rewind. Grandmaster design requires intellectually higher mind. Cry louder, bitch. I only speak in whispers. I see you moan, and I can feel you quiver. Cry louder, bitch. I only speak in whispers. I see you moan.
Cry louder, bitch. Cry louder,